Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are in the world and watching this video. It's a dull grey day. Today is the 3rd of February 2022 and I'm driving the Tata Tigor EV. This is the car I've got for the next week, where I'll try and discuss at the end of the week how it is to live with this, India's most affordable and efficient electric passenger car. Living with the electric is, of course, the first thing you understand is you can possibly hear my jacket rustle because there is no engine vibration or engine noise. I mean, dealing with silence is of course one of the biggest challenges of an electric, but that's another debate. I want to today discuss something that Union Minister Nitin Gadkari said recently, that he wants to mandate 6 airbags for passenger cars. And today morning we received a note from one of Chairman Emeritus of the International Road Federation, one of those bodies, makes no difference to us, saying that 6 airbags is not a good move. Now, saying something like that, anti-safety at the end of the day, and making it out like that will not really sail. But there are some very pertinent points about 6 airbags. Now, this particular car has 2 airbags, and here is the thing. Airbags are, earlier when you saw if you see older cars with airbags, they have the term SRS airbags or SRS airbag, instead of just airbag over here. SRS stands for Supplementary Restraint System. And if you don't know the word supplementary, I'm assuming you do, supplementary is essentially that it's a secondary, it's a supplemental system. It is not the primary system to save your life. The primary system to save your life is this. The airbag, at least the front driver and passenger airbag, work together with a pre-tensioning seatbelt, or nowadays you get pre-tensioning seatbelts on cars, to try and save you. Now, the Tigor is a 5-star global NCAP car. I don't know if the Tigor EV has been rated separately. It should be, but again, that's not there. I'm very confident about the way Tata makes their vehicles nowadays, and safety is a priority, but that's a different argument altogether. Airbags are supplemental systems. They are not primary systems. Airbags will not save you, even if you have 6 airbags. That is, if you have a window airbag here and a curtain airbag here. That's the usual 6 airbag setup, that you have an airbag that goes off here and an airbag that goes off here, or maybe an airbag on the B pillar. At the middle of the B pillar instead of just the top. The top airbag usually deploys to prevent glass from coming in, because and I've had an accident, pretty bad accident many years ago. I'm almost 2004, which is 18 years ago now, where the only injuries I got were from little glass shards breaking, because and those can be very sharp, and those can cause, me and my friend in the car, both of us were cut up with little scratches here and there from the glass. Curtain airbag would have saved us from those glass cuts. In the accident I had, even the front airbags, and I was driving a Honda CR-V, a 2nd generation Honda CR-V, and that did not, even the front airbags did not go off because the impact was a side impact. Airbags are supplemental. Airbags without seatbelts are downright dangerous. For example, there's a reason car makers across the world, and definitely in Europe and America, you are advised not to put children in the front seat, because airbags are mandatory. The only way to get a high safety rating on a car, whether it is NCAP or the IS, the Institute of Highway Safety in the United States, is to have multiple airbags on a car, even though they may or may not be mandatory. Right. Now, you can switch off the front passenger side airbags. Even on most Indian cars, there's usually a key to switch it off. And in that case, you will get a warning either in your instrument cluster or your infotainment panel, depending on the make of car. The reason you can switch off the front passenger airbag is very often you might have a child who is under, say, 4 feet sitting in the front passenger seat. Now, putting children on the front passenger seat is not a good idea. But sometimes you're traveling with a child alone, and you can put a rearward facing seat, child seat, even in front. Putting a child in the front seat is downright dangerous with an airbag. Children are not as strong, obviously, as adults. They don't have very strong neck bones as I would. So what would happen if an airbag deploys over here is very simply that a child's neck could snap. Similarly, if I'm sitting with a child on my lap, as many Indian parents do, and these videos are super popular on Facebook, India, and they must act against these. Airbag goes off, the child will be pressed into my chest, possibly fatally injuring the child and fatally injuring me, because my child's head would be slammed right into my chest if I'm driving a car with airbags. Now, front airbags are today mandatory on all Indian vehicles. And I find it very funny that on Amazon and on Flipkart, you can buy devices that go into the seatbelt so that you don't have to wear your seatbelt. Again, I repeat, wearing a seatbelt is essential. Without wearing a seatbelt on a car that has airbags, you are endangering your life. Without the seatbelt, if I go forward and the airbag deploys, boom, my neck snaps, or could snap, or I could have very horrible injuries. Now, in an accident, a seatbelt or an airbag may or may not save you. It would, however, reduce the severity of the injuries. I mean, I know I've had a couple of accidents in my life, and I'm speaking to other people who have had accidents. I know a person in a car who had a very bad head-on accident. His shoulder, and your right shoulder in India, where the seatbelt is like this, was severely injured because the seatbelt dug into his shoulder. Now, those injuries can happen. Now, when you have airbags in the curtains, or maybe your knee airbags, or whatever airbags, 6 airbags don't have to be in fixed position depending on the vehicles. Injuries could happen. Now, of course, other arguments I've heard in this same email is that it will not be a big thing for Atmanirbhar India, which is bunkum, because I'm assuming seatbelts will eventually have to be being made in India. The other argument is that it will increase costs of cars. That is true. Airbag modules, will cost about 2 airbag modules. These airbag modules cost anywhere between 1,000 to 2,000 for OEMs, rupees I'm talking about, and so similarly other curtain airbag modules could cost that much and could bring up the price of cars anywhere from 10 to 20,000 rupees, which in the case of an Alto, as my friend Sumant Banerjee from ET Auto pointed out, is as much more than 5% of the car's cost. Again, BS6 norms, adhering to BS6 norms also added costs to cars. So I don't really agree with the argument, oh my God, you're putting airbags, it's going to make cars more expensive and keep people on two-wheelers. Cars are inherently safer, and yes, a great majority of motorists who die on Indian roads, and far too many people die on Indian roads every year, which is why Mr. Gadkari is so keen to impose new safety norms, is because our two-wheeler riders, both riders as well as those who ride pillion, But the reason I think he's moving with 6 airbags is the huge number of high-speed roads and these new expressways that are being built, which have far, far higher speeds. The eastern and western peripheral expressways around Delhi, for example, have a speed limit of 120 kilometers per hour. Again, 6 airbags may not save you in case of a high-speed collision, but it might save other people in the car with you. However, again I repeat, a car with airbags and where people are not belted in is downright dangerous. Please be wary of this one fact. Do not wear your seatbelts, whether you're sitting in the front or at the back. Please always be belted up if the vehicle has airbags. More airbags, good thing. Safety is a good thing, but you have to be conscious of your own safety. The other point I have to make, multiple airbags, a 6 airbag car will also ensure that you have better adherence to seatbelt norms at the back of a vehicle or a passenger car as well. It will ensure that if you have a child in the car, the child has to be excuse me, on a booster seat if they're above, whatever weight category that is. I think it's about 15 to 20 kgs, or in a child seat or an infant carrier. The airbag rule is well intentioned, but it could, like many other well intentioned rules, cause an increase in fatalities in the short term because people in India do not wear seatbelts, and we have not banned those stupid seatbelt warning devices from being sold on e-commerce sites. Sorry, the air quality is crap as usual. Please wear your seat belts. Airbags are supplementary restraint systems, and as cars move to 6 airbag systems, they could potentially be more dangerous for you in the short term, unless you're wearing seat belts, that is. Seat belts are the primary restraint system. They're the primary safety system on a car, and they're very basic, and many thanks to Volvo for making seat belts easily accessible to the rest of the world. Thanks so much for watching. Please do leave your thoughts. What do you think of 6 airbags cars? Do you think they'll make vehicles much more expensive? And what do you think the government should do right now in this case, in a country where many people do not wear their seat belts, either in the front and definitely not in the back? Thanks so much for watching.